Is your back feeling a little tight today? Well, this class is going to be perfect for you. Hi friends, it's Kate here. Thank you so much for jumping on my channel and joining me for a class today. I've got a 30-minute stretch class that is a sequence I do when my own back is feeling a little tight, a little sad. I don't like to say we have bad body parts. It's not that our back is bad. It's a little sad. It needs a little love and attention. We're going to do some lovely, gentle twisting. This isn't too intense. We don't do downward dog, so it's pretty gentle on our wrist. This is a good one for all levels, and honestly, it's one of my favorite ways to start our day, so, you know, it can be a great good morning stretch for those of us that feel pretty darn tight in our low back. Roll out your mat. Let's get started. Let's just start standing on our mat, feet about hip distance apart, fingertips dangling by your side, roll the shoulders back, lift up and out of the waist a little bit more. Think about wrapping the abdominal muscles in, pulling the navel to spine. Envision I'm behind you, holding your ears, pulling your ears a little higher up to the sky, just so we can open up through the very top of our neck. Take a nice deep inhale. Big breath out. Dip your chin to chest. Slowly bend your knees. Begin to roll yourself down into a forward fold. This can be as deep or shallow of a forward fold as you like. Once you find the base of your forward fold, pause. Maybe bend the knees a little bit more. Envision pulling your pubic bone up towards your belly button so we can really round through the back of the body. And then nod the head a little yes. Shake it no. Find your center, push down into the floor, soften the shoulders down the back, and roll yourself all the way back up to standing. Arrive tall and straight back on your mat. Take a big inhale, and again, exhale, chin to chest. Bend the knees. Fingertips are just being pulled down to the ground. Find that easy forward fold. And again, friends, you do not have to be as deep as I am. If your forward fold's a little more shallow or a little deeper, that's a-okay. Now again, pause for a moment. Is there tension through your jaw, through your shoulders, through the back of the neck? Can you let that go? Really looking through the legs, letting the top of the head just fall to the ground. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Push down into the feet, pull the navel into spine, slowly roll yourself all the way back up to standing. One more time, big deep inhale, exhale, chin to chest. Gently roll yourself down. Fingertips are heavy, top of the head falls. Find the base of your forward fold and pause. Soften the knees and take a little sway of your hips side to side. Come back, find your center, push down into your feet, slowly roll all the way back up to standing, one little vertebra at a time. Arrive tall and straight. Take an inhale, swim your hands high overhead. Rotate your pinkies together, lift up and out of the waist, take a big deep breath. Exhale, hands behind the head, elbows wide, put a soft bend in your knees. Almost push your head into your hands into your head, and think about growing a half an inch taller, even though we have that soft bend in our knees. Without moving the knees or the hips, take a big inhale, little twist to the right. Inhale, look forward. Little twist to the left. Inhale, look forward. Stand tall and straight. Squeeze where your thigh and your glute connect. Lightly push your pubic bone forward just so we are not dumping into our spine. No Beyonce booty moments here. Pull the navel up and in. Take a big breath. And a small stretch over to the right. Poke your right elbow down to the ground and point your right elbow high. Take a nice big breath. Cinch your waist as you come right back up. Same thing, other side. Dip your left elbow high, point your right elbow up to the sky. Think about fanning open your ribs. Take a breath. Return center. Now again, soft bend in the knees. Wrap the ribs in, push the elbows back. Take a big inhale. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, look center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, look center, stand tall and straight, squeeze your thigh butt connection point, pull the navel in, push the elbows back, big inhale. Exhale, stretch over to the right, lifting the left elbow high. This will be a little bit different than our first time. Start to softly bend the knees here. As you do so, point your right elbow up even higher. Maybe we find a deeper stretch along our lateral left side. From here, take a big inhale. And all I want you to do is gently forward fold. Kind of tuck your chin into your chest. Let your elbows wing towards one another. Pull the chin a little bit closer towards your sternum. And then slowly roll yourself all the way back up, just like we did from a full forward fold. Head is last thing to come upright. Big inhale. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Now remember, right now at first, our legs are straight. I'm squeezing my thigh butt connection point. I'm fanning open my right ribs. And now, little bend like we've already done. As you do so, maybe deepen your side body stretch. Maybe poke your elbow higher. Take a nice big breath. And then like we did on the other side, little forward fold. Pull the elbows towards one another. Dip the chin to the chest just a little bit more. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Slowly roll yourself up. Poke the elbows nice and wide once more. Release the hands, swim them high overhead. Great big inhale. Pretend like you are dangling from monkey bars. That is how long and stretched out your body is. You are reaching up as high as you can, still softening the shoulders down the back. Take a nice big breath. Exhale, flip the palms, press them down. Now all I want you to do is step your left foot forward, your right foot back. We're in just a small lunge, nothing big, nothing crazy. Holding there for a moment, take your time and bring your hand to your stomach and to your back. It's very easy in a little lunge to dump forward. We want to pull the navel in, lift up and out of the waist. Now think about squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. And again, it's like I'm pulling your ears up to the sky. I just have a tiny bend in both of my knees as I reach my fingertips up. Exhale, cactus your arms. Push your elbows and hands back. I'm only pushing them so far back that I don't start to arch to the back and splay through the ribs. I am getting a little bit of a stretch across the front of my chest, maybe just a little thoracic extension, but nothing big, nothing crazy. Take an inhale, straighten your hands up overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows again. Inhale, straighten the hands up overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows again. Last one, big stretch up. Exhale, bend the elbows back and pause. Now from here, place your left hand in front of your left thigh. I do have to lean a little bit forward because I've got short arms. You perhaps might have to too. But I press my left arm into the side of my thigh and I stretch my right hand overhead. Now I am stabilizing there with my left hand, pushing the left arm into the thigh, hugging my left thigh into my arm, stacking the shoulders one on top of the other, and really opening up across my right side body. Take one more big, deep filling inhale. Big breath out. Another big breath. Exhale, let that go. Go ahead. Take your right foot forward, your left foot back, or the opposite if we did the other side. Not the end of the world. I'm on the wrong side half the time too. Now, just as we did on side one, belly button in, spine so long, square the hips. Even though this is a nice stretch, think about engaging your lower body. I'm pulling my front heel towards my back toes, kind of squeezing my inner thighs together, physically lifting up and out of my waist. Big inhale, hands lift high. Take a pause, and again, it's that feeling of being dangled from some monkey bars like you're a little kid. Flip the palms, cactus your arms. Again, push elbows and hands back, maybe getting a little stretch across our pecs. Inhale, lift your fingertips high over the head. Exhale, pull the elbows down. Inhale, lift the hands high over the head. Exhale, pull the elbows down. One more time, up. Exhale, bring it down, pause. Now this time I'm going to place my right hand in front of my right thigh. Lean over to the right, stretching my left hand far away. Now it is easy to kind of cave over to look down at the ground, but I want you to stack the shoulders one on top of the other. Maybe push down a little bit more through the back of your left foot, growing longer out your left side body. I'm envisioning that I'm trying to make as much space from my left hip to my bottommost left rib, all the way out through my extended fingertips. Take a big inhale. Let that go. Go ahead and hop both feet together. Give yourself a little wiggle, and we're going to come down to the mat in a small child's pose. Now, knees can be together or apart, whatever feels best for you. Crawl your hands away and relax. Let the head fall into the mat. Let your elbows kind of dangle. Just make this a passive child's pose. Take a nice big inhale. Easy breath out. Again, great big inhale. Easy breath out. One more deep inhale. Exhale, let that go. Crawl your fingertips a little further forward. Fan open your hands, push down into your palms, and crawl your fingers over to the right side of your mat. Press your left hip, your left sitting bone down towards your left heel, and stretch again from your left hip through your side body, out your fingers. Take a nice big inhale. Easy breath out. Breathe deeply into your left side body. And then crawl your hands to the opposite side. I like to place my right palm on top of my left, pushing my right hip closer to my right heel, opening up through the right side body. A couple of big deep breaths here, just enjoying that nice, lovely feeling of fanning open my side. No hurry, no rush. Return center. Pause for a moment, and then roll yourself up to a seat. Now from here, if we can be in a kneeling pose, we might get a little more stretch, but if kneeling doesn't work for us, it's okay. Just take an easier seat, crossing the legs, that's totally fine. But otherwise, hands on the top of the thighs, roll the shoulders back, lift up and out of the waist. Think about squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, pulling the navel in, both hands lift nice and high. Flip the palms, and just like we did in our lovely little lunge, a little cactus. Push elbows and hands back. Pull the navel up and in. Imagine that there's a wall behind you that you're trying to push the hands, the elbows into. Take a nice big breath. Exhale, a little twist to the right, keeping that silly little cactus shape. Now, once I twist over to the right, I might turn to look towards my right elbow. If that feels too much, it's okay. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, bring it back. Pause for a moment, engage the tummy muscles, squeeze the inner thighs together, lift up and out of the waist, big inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Hold there, maybe look back towards your left elbow. Unravel, slowly return, reach both hands up nice and high. Now bring your right hand down by your side, lift up and out of your waist, and start to stretch towards your right side. Now it's easy to kind of cave the chest in like I've talked about already today, but we want to avoid that feeling. Push away from your palm, broaden across your chest, reach your fingertips further away from your body. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, perhaps push your hips to the left. You might have to slide your fingertips a little closer to your body to do so for a bigger, deeper, beautiful Pilates mermaid. Now we can hold right there, but oftentimes for me, I like to flip my palm, cactus my arm like we've already done before, push elbow and hand back and point my nose to the ceiling. If that's feeling too much today, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. Inhale, look forward, straighten the arm, take a big deep breath. And then an easy forward fold. Just let your head fall to the ground and then roll yourself up to a nice tall seat. Both hands lift high once more. Pause there. Flip the palms, cactus the arms. Just like we did earlier, push elbow and hands back. Wrap the ribs in, lift up and out of the waist. Take a big inhale. Let's twist to the left first. Look back towards your left elbow, your left hand. Inhale, return. Same thing, other side. Twist to the right. Again, look back behind you towards your right elbow. Return. And then swim your hands up. At first, just take that big stretching feeling like you're hanging from monkey bars, and then drop your left hand down. Lift your right hand higher. Start to stretch over to your left side. and decide, what does it feel like here? Do we need to do the same thing, something different? It's okay. You absolutely don't have to be 100% even from side to side. But when and if you're ready, we can send our hips now to the right, really stretching longer through my right side body. I kind of pretend like someone is pushing my right hip, my right sitting bone closer to the ground, and stretching my right hand further away. Take a big deep breath. Exhale, easy forward fold. Bring your hands back by your heels. Again, soften the forehead to the mat. Let the space between your shoulders relax, part. Let your head be heavy. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Another big inhale. Big sigh out. Hands by your sides. Roll yourself up to a nice tall seat. From here, take your feet out in front of you. Let's open our feet about as wide as the mat and take a moment to push down into your thighs to lift up. If there's a bend in your knees, that's okay. They don't have to be fully straight, but both hands reach high. Wrap the pinkies towards one another, lift up and out of your waist. Take a big inhale, hands behind the head once more. Clasp the hands, elbows open wide. Notice, are you arching your back? Can we knit the ribs together? Can you lengthen out of your lower back a little bit more? Take a big breath. Twist to the right. Inhale, look forward. Twist to the left. Inhale, look forward. Push your head into your hands into your head. Lightly flex your feet and hinge forward. I'm not worried about my head coming super close to the ground. In fact, I'm almost pushing my head a little further back into my hands, tucking my chin into my chest. And instead, it's more about almost sticking my tushy out behind me. I'm almost trying to dump into kind of a Beyonce booty. I don't want to actually arch the back, but we're more likely to kind of round in this position than arch away. So trying to lightly arch the back, we might find a deeper stretch. Take a big inhale. Release your hands from your head. Do actively tuck the chin into the chest and begin to forward fold. And this doesn't have to be the biggest, deepest forward fold. Let your shoulders melt away from each other. Let the top of the head fall to the space between your legs. And really think about pulling the navel in. Pulling the pubic bone up towards the navel. Slide the hands to your thighs. Roll yourself all the way up. Big inhale, both hands lift nice and high. Exhale, take a twist to the right. Right hand forward, left hand back. I said that in the opposite direction. I did left hand forward, right hand back. It doesn't matter. We're going to do both sides. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades together. Reach your fingers further away. Pull your navel up in and take a big inhale. Big breath out. Unravel, both hands lift high. Twist in the opposite direction. Same thing. It's like someone is pulling my wrist away from one another, but at the same time, I'm pulling the shoulder blades towards one another, wrapping the ribs in and using the twist from the middle of my body to wring out my spine. Inhale, unravel. Rotate the pinkies towards one another, lift up and out of the waist. Take a little hinge forward. Again, I'm thinking about sticking out my tushy. Maybe tuck your chin into your chest just a little bit more. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Exhale, little forward fold. Let your forehead just fall towards the ground and almost pull your chin towards your belly button. Let the shoulder blades soften and part. Slide your hands once more up to your thighs. Roll yourself up to a nice tall seat. Walk your feet in. If that does not feel good, you can keep them nice and wide. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just nice to shake it up. Inhale, both hands lift high. Rotate the pinkies towards one another. Lift up and out of the waist. Take another big twist to your right. Now, I really want you to squeeze your inner thighs together and make sure that one foot is not forward. It's kind of easy to pull your right hip back and let your left foot come a little further forward, but I want those hips to stay even with one another. From here, take your right hand to the ground behind you. Lift your left hand almost up towards like the diagonal edge of your room. Roll your shoulder back, puff your heart and chest up. Pull your belly button up and in. Take a nice big inhale. Big breath out. Another big inhale. Big breath out. Now look down towards your hand, push your shoulder away, pull your navel in, start to straighten out the spine. Take a nice big breath and use your abdominal muscles to pull yourself back upright. Swim the hands high, take another breath. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Again, making sure that we're squeezing the inner thighs, pulling the belly button in so our feet don't lose their connection to one another. Drop your left hand back. Take your right hand high and look towards the right hand. Think about rolling the shoulder back, puffing your heart, your chest, your sternum up, and enjoying that little heart opener. Not the biggest, steepest thing we've ever done, but I do find a lovely little stretch across my chest here. If that's not working for you, of course, modify. Do something else. Maybe you don't want to puff the chest up. Slowly start to pull the navel in to straighten the spine. Look down towards your back hand. Big inhale. Exhale, pick yourself upright. Both hands lift high. One more time, wrap the pinkies in, lift up and out of the waist. Take a little hinge forward if we can. Now, I do have a tendency to take my spine, my neck out of line here. I often kind of look forward, mostly because I'm talking to you, but really I should tuck my chin just a little bit closer to my chest. You want to have your arms in line with your ears. So if they're down here because you're trying to reach for your toes, that's less impactful than if we kept our arms lifted, our chest open, our belly button up and in. Take a big inhale. Exhale, maybe deepen the hinge if you want to. Another big breath. Exhale, possibly deepen the hinge. One last breath. Envision there's a beach ball in front of you. Drape over the beach ball. You may or may not be able to touch your toes. It's irrelevant if you can. What I want you to think about is pulling the navel in, rounding through the back of the body. Hands can relax wherever feels best. Soften through your legs. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Hands to thighs. Roll yourself all the way up to a nice tall seat. From here, let's bring our feet together, knees apart. Now, we're all a little bit different in the body. How close your feet are to your pelvis really has a lot to do with your own hips and the proportion and length of your legs. So if your little butterfly shape doesn't look like mine, it's really not the end of the world. And we're not going to be here too long anyway. I also hear some teachers be very specific about whether your feet are fully touching or not. Again, that has to do with your proportions, your ankle mobility and flexibility. I don't like it when my big toes touch. I just press the pinkies and the heels together and I kind of let my feet fall away from each other in a book. Like a book. That's what feels best in my ankles. If that does not work for you, again, no big deal whatsoever. I have had a lot of clients, students, that like to put something underneath their heels right there to kind of prop them up because that keeps the ankles in better alignment for those of us that don't have as much flexibility there. Anywho, that was a bit of a tangent. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the chest up and away. Now, I do almost like to pull my shins in towards my body and pull my body towards my shins. And again, if that's not feeling very good in your body, that's okay. Simple solution to get more range of motion for many of us that feel like this pose is a little tight is just to sit on a block or a blanket or roll up your mat and sit on top of it and have your feet on the floor so your hips are above your feet. That's always optional. But from here, take a nice big breath. And as you hug your shins and your body towards one another, take a small hinge forward. Now again, I have a habit of jetting my chin forward. I'm going to tuck my chin to my chest just a little bit more. Another big inhale. Exhale, maybe deepen the hinge. I am trying with all my might to keep a long flat back. There might be some roundness through my lumbar spine. I'm not perfect, but I'm going for a lovely flat back. Now, from here, we are going to round. So I lean my sacrum, my sitting bones kind of back. I pull my belly button in. It's almost kind of that punch to the gut feeling that I talk about sometimes. Whether your head stays elevated like mine is, or you can start to bring it closer to the ground, totally up to you. Hands can be placed wherever feels best. Nod the head a little yes, shake it no. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Hands to shins or legs and then roll yourself all the way back up. Take your hands on the outside edge of your knees and carefully guide them together. And from here, Heel toe your feet a little further apart, lay back on the ground. Take your hands up and overhead. Now I'm actually going to knock my knees together. I kind of squeeze the inner thighs towards one another, imprint the spine, and stretch from my hips through my side body out my fingertips. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Take a windshield wiper of your knees, side to side. And then heel toe the feet back so they're in line with your sitting bones and not too far away from your body. You'll hear some teachers say that you need to be able to touch the heels. Again, that's proportions. Not everyone's body is shaped in the way where that's going to work. Mine obviously do not, because I've got really short arms. Roll your shoulders back. Feel the shoulder blades connect to the ground. Imprint the spine. That means to press the small back down. Press down into the whole of the feet and lift up into your bridge. Now, I like to, if I'm going for more of a heart opener here, and if we're in the mood, we can, instead of taking my hands underneath my hips, I make little robot arms. I press my elbows into the mat. I press my shoulders into the mat, and that gives me a little more leverage to lift my pelvis up a little bit higher. If that's just not feeling good for us today, it's okay. But elbows down, shoulder blades kind of pull towards one another, space between chin and chest. Take a big deep inhale, big breath out. Slowly wing the elbows away, roll yourself all the way down to the mat. Take your right knee into your chest. You can hug around your shin or underneath your thigh and pull the knee a little closer to your body and start to swivel it around like a great big circle. Take it in the opposite direction. Pause, pull a little closer to your body, elongate your left leg. Find that big, beautiful stretch from the tip of your toe through your body, out your knee. Take a nice big breath. And then cross your right leg over your left for a twist. And I doubt you could hear that on the mic, but my back just popped. And that felt really, honestly amazing to me. I hope if your back popped, it also felt good, but certainly not a requirement of this pose. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Another big inhale. Big sigh out. One more big breath. Nice big sigh out. Slowly straighten your right leg, roll to your back, take your hands up and overhead. Stretch from the tip of your toes through your body, out your fingers, big deep breath. Exhale, walk your feet back into your body. Pull your left knee into your chest. Start by giving it a hug, a squeeze, and then taking some big circles of your knee. Opposite direction. Hold it in nice and tight. Elongate the right leg down the mat. We might notice one side feels totally different than the other. It's okay. Maybe we already know that we don't want to do the twist, in which case that's okay. But if we're in the mood, we'll cross our right leg, our left leg over our right, and we'll take our great big twist to the other side. Your twist does not have to be as deep as mine is. It might look totally different from me. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We should move our body in whatever way feels best. Also, if you feel like you're really straining to hold yourself here, you can take it back a little bit. I want you to sink and soften into this big twist. Take another big inhale. As you exhale, straighten the leg down the mat, roll to your back. Reach your hands high overhead. Stretch once more from the tip of your toes through your body, out your fingers. Take a great big filling inhale. Big sigh out. Walk the feet in. Knees can be together, or you could have feet together, knees apart. Close your eyes, let yourself settle. If this is not a comfortable position, of course, you could find a new spot. But can you just let yourself settle on the mat? Take a full big inhale. Easy breath out. Another big inhale. Big breath out. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug, a squeeze, and a little rock all the way up to a nice tall seat. As always, my friends, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I certainly hope you enjoyed this lovely little stretch, and I hope to see you soon.